Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Jackie and this is Cross My Stitches. So glad you decided to join me today in a Flosstube Extra where I'm going to show you how to make your own bee skep from items you can buy at the Dollar Tree, Hobby Lobby, and Walmart. So let's get started. Let me show you what you're going to learn how to do today. This is the bee skep that I made. I'm going to hold it up so you can see it, and you can see it is made out of a rope. It's not a jute. Well, it might be jute rope, and it's got a form underneath it. As you can see, it has a flower pot underneath it as the base, and it's got some flowers, and it's got a couple of bees here, and I'm going to show you how to make this today. So let's first get started with what supplies you need in order to make your beehive. So the first thing you're going to need is some kind of base. Now, I have seen others just use the rope and mold the rope in the shape they want, but I think it's a little easier when you're a beginner like me, where you have some kind of base to glue it to. So originally I said I did it with a flower pot. So this was a pot that I got actually at Family Dollar, but Dollar Tree, I'm trying to put this back together so you can see it. Dollar Tree actually sells these too. They're self-watering pots for $1.25. I got this one for $1 over at the Family Dollar. And it comes in two pieces. Now, originally I had melted off the little lip that sticks out because I thought when I was going to use this as a mold that I didn't want that part sticking out. So I did melt it off, but then I chose to take this off completely, and I just used my pot like this. So if you're going to use one of these plastic pots, you certainly can take that portion off and use it just like this. But for this demonstration today, and I'm sorry if I'm looking at the wrong spot, I'm using my iPad today and I'm not used to which way to look, so I apologize. We're going to use a bowl. We're going to get a Dollar Tree bowl for $1.25, and we're going to make a smaller bee skep out of this bowl. The second thing you're going to need is your rope. So this is decorative nautical rope from the Dollar Tree. It's 9.5 feet for $1.25, and I think this is going to take about 2.5 for the bowl. The bee skep, original bee skep that I did, it took 4.5 of these to make it. But I think this one's going to probably take about 2.5. We'll see. But I bought enough to make sure that I had it. The next thing that you're going to need is your paint. So this is multi-surface quick drying apple barrel paint in black. So any black acrylic paint that you have will work just fine. You also need a paintbrush. So I have my paintbrush to paint the black on. You're going to need your bees. When you decorate this, when you're done, you're going to want to decorate it. So the bees that I used on the big one were this pack of bees here that I happened to get at Amazon. But I also found some really cute bees at Hobby Lobby. So these are the ones that are at Hobby Lobby, and they're in the gardening section where you can buy all the decorative gardening things for your plants. And these are a 6-pack of bees, and they are $4.99. Now, if you wait for the 50% off in the floral department, you'll get these for $2.50. They are made of cork, and then they have little feather wings, which are just adorable. So I have those, and those are what I'm probably going to use for my one that I'm doing now. You will need flowers if you want to add flowers to yours. I picked these up at Hobby Lobby. They were $8.99 regular or $7.99 regular. That would be $4 if you wait for the 50% off sale. And there's definitely, I've already cut 3 off of this, and there's definitely enough to do several more bee skeps if I choose to do it. And you're going to need a hot glue gun. Now mine is an Aleene's Ultimate Techie Glue. It's got the double hot and cool feature. I have it set on hot. You're going to need several glue sticks because it takes quite a bit of glue sticks to glue this around. And just as a tip, this is what I use to store my glue sticks in. This is a Parmesan, you get the shaker Parmesan. I can't remember what it's called, but this is it. You can see that's got the little lids with the holes for the Parmesan in it. But then you have the other side you can open and get your glue sticks out. And that's how I store my glue sticks. It makes it really handy to have them with me at all times. So I think that's it. I think that's everything you're going to need. I am going to readjust myself here, point the camera down a little more so you can see what I'm doing, and we'll get started with making a bee skep. So I'll be right back with you. Okay, so we're ready to get started, and I'm going to start with wrapping my bowl or my planter pot or whatever I'm using in the rope. So I'm going to remove these from the packaging. And scissors. You're also probably going to need scissors. You got to cut these little straps on the rope, and then you got to cut the tape off the ends. So you will need some scissors to cut those things with. This is such a cute project to have as a display if you're stitching your little bee pillows and other items. It makes such a cute display. I have mine set with all my little bee things. Hopefully in my next video that I'll be sharing my dough bowl with my bee stuff in it, and then my display with my hives and stuff. So the first thing you're going to want to do is cut off the tape. There's a little bit of tape on the end of this, and you just snip it off. And it shouldn't unwind immediately, so you're going to be good to go there. Get that in the trash. And we're going to start at the edge of the bowl here. So we're going to start here and start going around and gluing as we go. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue right here on the edge of my bowl, and then stick my jute rope on the edge and just hold it for just a second until I know that it's firmly glued to the edge of my bowl. And you want it to be down enough so when you lay your bowl down on the counter that the jute is touching the surface. So you want to make sure you get that nice and tight in there so it's touching the surface. And then we're going to start gluing as you go. And it's kind of hard. This is a bowl. I have to kind of hold it as I go. So I'm going to try to do my best here because it's going to slide on this surface. I wish I had a piece of, hold on, let me see if I have a piece of fabric I can use. Don't know if that'll help me or not, but we will see. So I'm going to lay a piece of fabric down, and well, that'll make it a little less sliding. So, and you're going to glue as you go. So you're going to add some glue along your bowl, just along the edge. And then press your jute down along the edge. So just right on the bottom of the bowl or the planter, whatever you're using. And you want to be careful, this glue is hot. You don't want to burn yourself. So it's going to start looking like this. And you want to go all the way around the bowl. And you're going to keep wrapping your rope around the bowl as you go. So I'll do the first round, and then I will either cut it off as I reach the top, or I will fast forward this. We'll see what I can end up doing with it, because I have new editing software and I'm not sure how it works yet. So isn't that fun when you have new editing software? Because I normally don't use my iPad to video, but I thought maybe it would be easier to get it to work for me than using my laptop, because that's my usual form of videoing is on my laptop. And I really would like to start using my iPad to video. I think the iPad, I downloaded a app that I think will be lots of fun to use in editing, or easier than my laptop will be. So again, I'm just running it along here till I get to the end and they meet up. So when I get there, there we are. So when I'm getting to the end here, I'm just going to glue all the way down, and then I'm going to just jump up a little bit. So you're going to have a little bit of color showing here. You can take a small piece of jute and just put it in there and glue it if you'd like. But then we're going to start wrapping the next row, and you're going to go row after row of wrapping and going as you go. So just keep going around and around. I'm going to stop probably around this where the blue line or the turquoise line ends right here, because I don't want my thing to go up and then go back in again. So I'm going to see how that works for me. I haven't done it on a bowl yet, so we're going to see how this goes. So we're going to continue on here, and either I'll fast forward through this, or I will cut it and meet you when I get to the top. But just keep gluing and wrapping. And make sure you're pressing it so you're not seeing any color or anything through your pieces. They should be up against one another. Okay, we're trying not to get any glue on the outside of the rope. I'm gluing on the bowl, I'm putting glue on the bowl, and then I'm pressing it in and pressing it up to the next piece. Okay, so I'm getting to the end of my first piece of rope. I'm going to cut off the tape. And I'm going to glue this last little part down. Okay, pick up my next piece of rope. Make sure I cut this off. And I'm going to attach these two together. So when I attach these two together, I'm going to put glue on the very end of this one and press them together so they're sticking together. And it looks like I'm very close to the back where my piece is going to be. So, and you usually can't see this when you do it. It's pretty, I'm going to flip this up, pretty unnoticeable. So I put glue on the very end. And then I'm going to stick this one right to it and press and let that bond. just give it a minute to bond before you continue on. It'll stick really well, and then you can continue on. So far we've used one 9.5 foot length of rope. We're on to the second one. And like I said, I think it might take about 2.5 to do this bowl, so not bad. And we're gonna continue on now. Okay, so we've covered all the blue part, and now we're going to start moving up. We don't want to keep going because this has a lip that goes straight. We don't want our hive to go over and then up and then down. So I'm stopping right there, following the bowl. So as I'm gluing, going forward, I'm going to glue it, instead of put the glue against the bowl, I'm going to put it on the rope. So I can build it up and around so it becomes a round piece. So I'm going to add another piece of rope. I need to open one more package. Although I have a little bit of rope here, let me try this first. I don't know how long this one, if this is long enough or not, but we'll find out. So again, I'm going to put a little piece of glue right on the end of this one. Press them together. Let that grip. And as you can see, you'll get little glue wispies and stuff, you know, those little strings that the glue gun will put off. Don't worry about those because when we're done with this, if you'll take a hairdryer to it and just run the heat along it, it'll melt all those little sticky, wispy glue pieces onto, and you won't even notice them. They'll just kind of disappear into the jute rope. So if you have a lot of those wispies and stuff and they're stuck to it, don't worry about it. Run your hairdryer along it. Not too hot, not too close, but just enough that it melts those little wispies and they just kind of disappear. Okay, so let's see if I have enough rope now. So from here on out, I'm going to put my glue actually on the inside edge of the rope. So I'm just going to go along very gently. It's a little bit slower process because you don't want glue showing on the outside. And then I'm going to stick it to the actual jute instead of to the bowl. And we're going to, as soon as I clear this, I'm going to start going up even deeper. So right now I'm just trying to get it to not straight on top of it, but slightly in, but I'm not sticking it to the bowl. There we go. Right, I'm just making sure that it's going in the way I want it to. So I'll continue this around until I clear that top of the bowl. Now I'm going to start going in just a little bit further. closing in. You have a little bit of wiggle room on the glue to try to adjust to get where you want to be. Again, I'm just running it on the inside edge of the jute. And then just going in slightly. I want this one to be a little more flatter than the other one, so I'm going to try to keep bringing it around to make it go in further and further, so it kind of just rounds the top. Because every little beehive is different. Of course, I'm sure you've noticed I'm left-handed. If you're right-handed, you would do the opposite way. But I am a lefty, so I'm doing it from right to left. You would probably do left to right as you were doing it. And you see we're starting to pile it up here and make it to the top of the hive. Going in a little further. Got a little wispy there. Oh, I need more glue. Hold on just a second. Okay, there we go. And this is about the time as we're winding down and we're getting towards the top that you want to make a decision whether you're going to put a hanger on the top of yours or not, or if you're going to leave it without one. So I think I'm going to, trying to decide here. So if you're going to put a hanger on your, hold on, let me get this glued and then we'll talk about it. You can see I'm still going in here. I'm just pressing and going in. If I see a little glue, like I said, the glue is kind of easy to work with. You can probably just push it out. I'm not going to be overly concerned about it if it has a little glue spot somewhere. So if I was doing a glue spot, now's the time, or a glue hook like this one, like this here. Now is the time as I would try to get ready for that. And what you're going to do is you're just going to take part of your rope and you're just going to trim this off. So you'll take a little loop, you'll cut here, and then you'll glue the two pieces together and then glue this to the bottom of the bowl. So right on the bottom of the bowl. So we would cut. I'm not going to do it because I'm not making a loop on this particular one, but that's how you would do it. You would just cut the piece off, glue the two pieces together, and then put a bunch of glue on the bottom and then stick it to your bowl or your pot and just run a whole glob of glue there and stick it down and just let it set up. Once it sets up, you'll be fine to just keep wrapping around until the very end. But I'm not going to put a hanger on this particular one, so it's not hard to do though. Just glue it on there, give it a minute or two to dry before you go and finish going around your beehive. Press. We're going to go in some more. We're almost running it along the inside edge at this point. Again, we're letting it dry. It's doing good. Let's see. Keep spinning. We're going to keep doing it until we close it up. And at this point, I got to start putting my handle or my stand in so it's not hitting. turning. Okay, it's looking pretty good. And we just got a little bit more to go. Let's see, we're going to close this up. Probably going to need about that much. So I'm going to nip this off. And then see if I can get this to finish off. And I'm just going to shove the edge down the hole. When I get to that point and I have a hole that I can fit that through and it'll be snug and tight, that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to go like that. 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 Go just a little bit further. Okay, so I have this, let me get it in there. I have this little dinky hole, and I'm just going to stick the rope down right in the center and just push it down. And I'm going to lift it, okay, so I'm going to lift it over just a little so I can get glue down in there. And then I'm going to push this so it ends it, just like that. There we are. So there's the end of mine. Now if I wanted, I could have probably left it out and looped it that way as well, but it's all in there. There's my hive. So looking really good, really happy with how it looks. So it's just smaller than the other one, but still it's looking good. I do see a little glue here and there. Some of it I'm just able to pull it off. If, like I said, if it's little wispies, don't worry about them. When you run a heat source over them, it'll be just fine. So I do have just a little bit left. That was probably about 2.5, a little more than 2.5 of those packages. But this little piece here isn't going to be, I don't know if I can get this tape off. If I get the tape off, this piece will be just the right size to make the hole for the beehive. So I'm going to see if I can get this off and use this piece instead of cutting into another roll. There we go. So I'm going to use this. So you need a piece that you're going, just a small piece that you're going to glue together to make the hole to the hive. And now you have to decide what size hole you want. This piece is just slightly smaller than 5 inches. And I'm going to glue the two pieces together. Again, just like before, so we can make the roundness. And that will go on the front as your entrance to your hive. So we're going to take our glue. We're going to put a dot of glue right there on the edge. And we're going to press the two ends together. So just like that. Let me move this out of the way so you can see. So we got the two ends pressed together, just like that. Okay, and let them set up. Doesn't have to be perfect, just needs to be together. And I'm just pressing them, so I'm getting them nice and even and straight together. So there it is. There's my little loop. And that's what I'm going to put on the front of my hive. So what I'm going to do is, I know that this back here is the back, and I'll fix that in a minute. So I want this part to be the front of my hive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a bead of glue all the way around the circle, sorry. And then this part here that I glued together, that's going to be the bottom part. So I'm going to put that as the bottom, and you won't even notice it once I get it on there. So I'm going to take some glue. I'm going to run a glue bead all the way around. Be careful, this glue is hot. Don't let it touch your fingers. And I'm going to spin my hive around so I can see what I'm doing. Decide where I want it. Get it positioned right. And then I'm going to put it down. So I'll spin this around in just a second. Let me get it situated. So there's my entrance to my hive. So I have my bee entrance, and you can make it whatever size you like. You could make it smaller than this, larger than this, whatever you wanted to do. So I've got it glued down really well. So there it is. And using the fabric and spinning my pot made it real easy for me to maneuver my pot, as you could see, so I could spin it and start swirling my rope around. So that really worked out really well. So now I'm going to paint the inside of the hive hole. So as you can see on this one, it's painted black, so it just looks like a black hole. You really can't tell, it just looks like the entrance to the beehive. So I'm going to take my paint. I have a little board here that I use. I should have showed you that before. So when I'm using my glue stick or my glue gun, I use a piece of cardboard to lay my glue gun on so that I don't burn my surface or my counter or whatever I happen to be crafting on. It's just on a piece of cardboard. I cut it out of a box. I'm also using it as my paint palette, as you can see. So I'm going to leave my gun aside, and I'm going to put my paint on here. And I'm going to be very generous as I'm painting my hole. So because this jute will suck up paint. So I'm just going to paint the inside of the hole. As you can see, it's sucking up the paint, going around the inside edge just carefully so I don't get it all over. Letting the jute absorb all the paint that it wants. Okay, I think I got it. And there we go. So there is my hive hole all painted. Now I'm going to take a small piece of the stuff that I cut off, and I'm going to fix the back real quick. So I'm just going to cut this tape off. Because again, I don't want to cut into a new roll, so it's just easier to do it this way. And just glue a little dinky piece on the back. So I'm just going to divide all this. Let's see, where's my scissors? Just need a little bit of this rope just to hide that spot. So I'm going to dab some glue there. Press that jute in there. Let some of it fall off. Just basically trying to hide the bowl so that you can't see that turquoise color showing through. Come on there. There we go. Now you could also, if you wanted, block off, make a cover for your pot or your bowl with a piece of cardboard and maybe some felt if you wanted. You can certainly do that before you start putting the rope on. Trace the object onto a piece of cardboard, cut it out, and glue it to the bottom before you start wrapping the rope. And then you could put felt on it or something to cover the bottom. I'm not going to cover mine. I'm going to leave them just like this. And there you go. There's your hive. And now you can decorate it any way you like. So I think what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to add some flowers to it, but I think I'm going to pull these off. Let me see how this is going to work. If I pull it off, I'm going to move my paint and stuff because I don't want to get paint on everything that I'm working on here. I'm going to attempt to see if I cut off this stem, if I could just press these in. So let me just see what I can get away with there. There we go. And I can just glue them onto my hive if I wanted. So I think I'm going to do that with these. I'm going to cut them off. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to spin my hive around here real quick so I can just get a view of what I want to do with them. Okay, so let's see. Oop, I just got glue on my leaf, on one of my little petals. Get that off of there. Okay, glue in the center. And then just press it down. Yeah, I think I'm going to put 3. I'm going to put 3. And just as a reminder, glue is very hot, so be careful you don't burn your fingers with it. Okay, so I stuck 3 on that side like that. So I've got my flowers on there. I think I might put one more. Let's see, what do I got here? Some of these are a little crushed, so I'm trying, there we go. We'll cut one more off. And I think I'm going to just put one down here on this side. So it's looking like this. Let's see. Should we put one along the bottom there maybe? Maybe along the bottom. So let's just roll that. And again, you could use any flowers you wanted, any way you want them. I'm trying to see through the camera to see where I'm putting it. There we go. It can be any way you like. So I've got my flowers on there. I think that looks really cute. And then I'm going to add my bees, and I think I'm going to use these Hobby Lobby bees. So let's see what we got here. I have not undone these, so I don't know how they're on here, but we're going to find out. So it looks like they're on little sticks. That could be fun. Right, 1, 2, 3. You know what could be fun with this is if you can get the little sticks. I'm going to fix this little antenna here. Oh, they're not as wiry as the other things, so we'll stick them out like that. Straighten this wire, and then I bet I could get them so they're flying. So let's try, where's my little nippers? So I have some wire nips here. I'm going to snip that off. And I bet you I could put him so he's flying. Figure out how I'm going to do it and get it in there. So he's just flying around my beehive, around my flowers. Oh, that would be precious. Okay, so we're going to do that. I'm going to put a little glue dot right there. Just enough to hold this wire. Put the wire down. I'm going to use probably my brush here to press it in just a little. I don't want to use my fingers because that's mighty hot. There we go. Look at that. Look at the bee flying around the flowers. That is too adorable. We're going to take one of our little bees. Let's take this one here. And I'm just going to glue him to the hive. So I'm going to nip off his wire. And I'm going to spin this around for just a second so I can get placement. Figure out where I want him. Put a little glue. And again, I'm going to press him on there. I'm going to bend out his wing, his antenna a little there. Press, 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 and hold. And look at that. I love the flying bee. I think I'm going to have to add another one like that. But there it is. There's my beehive. I have my bee next to the hole. I have some flowers. I have this one hovering over the flowers. I can aim him any way I want to aim him so that he looks like he's flying. And it is absolutely adorable. So simple, easy to do. You can do this too. Just be careful with the hot glue. Make sure you don't burn your fingers. Supplies were not that much. It was pretty inexpensive. And I have a beehive that will last me several years. When I go to pack this away, I'll make sure I press the bee up against the hive and wrap it up really well. But this is how they came out, and I think they're just gorgeous. So there's this one with the flowers and the bees, and I think I'll add some more bees to this on the outside. I definitely need to add more. And then this one here where the bee is flying around the flowers, and there it is near the hive. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, please like and subscribe to my channel. I love sharing my love of cross stitch and other crafts. And I appreciate everyone who likes and subscribes. And even if you don't, thank you so much for stopping by and visiting with me today. It has been lots of fun to do this. I'm really pleased at how this particular one came out. I may have to finesse my other one a little more to make it just as cute. And I think I'm going to put another flying bee somewhere on here with this wire and let him fly around the flowers. So thank you so much, and hopefully you'll join me again. My next Flosstube channel, my next Flosstube video, excuse me, should be up. And if it's not today, then it will be in a few days where I can share some of my cross stitch with you. So thank you so much, and have a blessed day. Bye.